Just getting everything connected. We will get started shortly. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. It's been a long week for me. So we're just going to wait a few minutes and let people connect, and then we'll get started with our evening. All right. If you're here, send me a message in the chat. Let me know that everything's working. Jennifer Ring, hello. Hope you're doing well, dear. Hey, Lisa. Feeling better. Feeling better. Although it didn't help that my kitchen sink decided to explode this afternoon. So there's that mess to deal with later. But health-wise, I'm doing good. Thank you. Anik, hello. Sherry, great to see you. Michelle, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. Definitely feeling better. Yes, I finally got stitches out and I can finally move again. You know, it's a better feeling. Still kind of numb, but getting there. You know, definitely feel better though. I feel more like myself, especially in the last day. So that's good. All right, so I'm going to get started with our evening here. This is one of, hey, Christy, this is one of the type of events that I want to try to do more often. And what we're going to be doing this evening is we're going to be doing little mini readings from spirit. Okay. So I'm going to be trying to go to as many in spirit as possible by describing them, by showing them, but they're going to be showing me what different things and memories and items that you would recognize. So with this type of event, you know, I'm going to be calling it Whispers from Spirit. And the reason I'm going to do that is I specifically remember going to New Orleans a couple of years ago. And we went to one of the cemeteries. You know, everyone said, you know, go see Marie Laveau's grave, right? She was the voodoo queen of New Orleans. And it is a really interesting cemetery. And as being a sensitive, I was quite overwhelmed when I got there. And if you've never been or never seen the graveyard of New Orleans, they are actually above ground because of the water line. So they have like these brick mounds that are actually like the graves, and there are some mausoleums and things of this nature. And I remember just walking by it and hearing whispers, like actually hearing whispers in my ear. And, you know, this was before I became, you know, attuned and completely trained. You know, I was sensitive and doing Reiki at the time, but walking through that cemetery, I could hear their whispers. And it was incredible. Like I turned to my brother, I'm like, did you hear that? Did you hear what they just said? So, that's, what we call in mediumship clairaudience, where you're actually hearing what spirit is saying, right? So, given the circumstances and where it was, being a sensitive, they all wanted to talk. But, at the time, I didn't necessarily know what to make of it. But like I kept hearing all these whispers. So it was really incredible. And it was one of the transformative experiences that really encouraged me to study more and develop my skills. Um, so we'll see how the evening goes. I'm going to try to shoot for at least 30 minutes, but we'll see how I can keep my energy up. Um, like if you followed me from the beginning when we did the original card readings, I think those were like 20 minutes, and now they're an hour or past sometimes now. So that's the kind of energy that I want to bring to this type of event too, is to gradually increase it and expand upon it. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure how the chat is going to work for the messages, but I'll do my best. The next one might be on Zoom. It might be easier, but we'll figure it out together, right? All right, let's see. Hey, Connie, Daniela, great to see you. Sherry, hi, Michelle, Helen, great to see you. Yeah, New Orleans is amazing. If you haven't been, definitely go. Kaylee, hello. Neva, great to see you. Hey, Dan, Wendy. Ooh, thank you for the cookies, Helen. All right, so as we get started with this evening, when I'm describing the person, and if you can recognize who this is, please indicate in the chat. And you should be able to take 90 to 80% of the information given. Okay. Some finer details might be off, but I'll do my best. So remember, 80 to 90%. Let me know how the validations work in the chat. Okay. In the past, some people have been, say, a little bit shy or didn't want to necessarily share that loved one publicly. And, that's okay. If that's the case, I still would appreciate the validations by you sending me a private message on Facebook. Okay. So if you recognize the person in spirit, but you don't feel like chatting publicly, I understand that completely. I only ask that you send me a private message then on my Facebook business page and let me know. Okay. All right. So we shall get started now. Susan and Steph, hello and welcome. Okay. So as I'm drawing my awareness to spirit and blending with them, a woman, she really catches my attention. Okay. I like to say she's like 5'6", 5'7", in that height. She appears to me kind of hunched over and wearing really like knit sweaters, and for some reason I'm seeing the color green around her a lot. Okay. And when I ask her who she's here for, she says, "I'm here for my darling." Okay, my darling daughter is what she's saying to me. Okay. So this is a woman that you would recognize that she lived to quite an old age. Okay. You would remember like her hands being sort of deformed towards the end, especially in the age that she's presenting herself to me right now. And this would be like painful type arthritis. Okay. She's also presenting herself to me wearing glasses. And the sensation that I'm feeling is it's more of like a reading type of aid, that she needed these reading glasses. Okay. You would also understand and recognize that she outlived her husband, not by a little, but by a lot. the information I'm seeing is that he passed in his 60s, and she's presenting herself to me to be like in her 80s. Okay. Um, all right. So as I'm going deeper with her, um, I'm also seeing that, she's a woman that quite enjoyed like her cup of tea. It appears to me as like a cup of tea. And it's showing to it's presenting itself to me like as in a tin. This is the type of like a coffee mug or teacup tin that you would particularly see like World War II era. Okay. Um, so so this was like a very sentimental type item to her, and she used it throughout her life. Okay. Um, all right. So as I'm going deeper with her, she's showing me yes, so showing me like this pink crochet work. Okay. Uh, it appears to me to be a blanket, a quilt type of throw. Okay. So this is a type of item that you would have in your house or in your possession, or you would recognize it. Okay. Um, she appears to me as living, I'm going to say this because this is what I'm feeling and seeing, that she's living or she lived in England. Okay. Specifically, I'm hearing London now. Okay. Um, okay. Um, and throughout, like I'm seeing like quite a lot of troubles too, keeping everything together. You would at least recognize that she did everything that she could to keep the family together, um, and that she like she was really like frugal. Like she would go out, she would clean. Um, feel like that she would clean, that you would know that she cleaned for other people, that everything that she made, like she saved, and she saved it in cash. This is not a woman that really ran to the bank or anything like that. It's like fundamental distrust for like the system or the banks. So everything that she had was, kind of like stashed away in her flat. Okay. Um, let me know if you recognize this person to be either your mother or your grandmother. Okay. Because I'm getting that very motherly connection. Um, so let me know in the chat. If you don't want to comment in the chat, I'll check my private messages, but I'll need to check that after the event. Okay. Because too many screens open. Um, so let me know if this woman sounds familiar to anybody. She's definitely here for someone. So if you don't feel like commenting publicly, that's fine. Just do so privately. Um, so as I'm waiting for a chat or whatnot, and get like a little bit more information from her. And the feeling that I'm getting is, there was a lot towards the end, quite a lot of congestion in my chest, quite a lot of pain. Um, like I would say, like cause of death, congestive heart failure. Um, just kind of like the body kind of like giving up, but like breathing feels very heavy towards the end. Is okay. Um, and the information that she's trying to get across is that she knows. Oh, okay, so she recognizes, um, and she sees the pattern from your life to her life. Okay, and she's coming forward because she doesn't want to see you struggling the way that she did. Okay, um, because she really struggled. She really tried the best she could to keep the family together, especially during those hard times. Um, and she's seeing similar patterns in your life, but the information that she's showing me is that it doesn't need to be the case. Okay, that she's there to give you the signs, the symbols that are necessary for you to kind of get yourself out of this difficulty that you're in as well. Okay, because she's showing me that like there's like this really like financial type hardship that's currently in your life as well. um, and she recognizes that pattern as well. um, did she have 6 kids? Let me ask how many children that she did have. See, now I'm not sure, Claire, because you're giving me the number. You should have asked how many kids that she have, if you recognize her. So what I can tell from the information she's giving me is I'm feeling that 2 of them died before she did. Okay. If that makes sense to you, this person in spirit is probably for you then, Claire. If you'd recognize 2 of her children to have passed before her. Okay. So that's the information that I have. Okay. Okay, no problem, Mary. And the feeling that I'm getting from, the children that did pass, it's like a an illness or something, something like pandemic wise type illness. Okay, something that came on pretty quickly for 2 of them, that they couldn't survive it. Okay, so she lost 2 children that way. All right. um yeah, and she told me like it absolutely tore her apart that it happened that way, that she's using the words that she told me, that it's helpless. Okay. Okay, Mary. Excluding the color, how does the other information match? Oh my goodness, Anik. Wow. All right, so Claire, Mary, Anik, let me know um, if you can take most of the information. Okay. um, so you can take the blanket but not the color. Okay, I can understand that. So Anik Richard, would you does the rest of the information match? Okay. So looks like we have 2 possible matches then. Okay, so 2 of them did pass, but after. Okay. All right. So we do at least have like the number 2 for the children that have passed then. I'm not sure why I'm getting the feeling that it was before, however. Mary, do you know that if she had 2 children that passed? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to move on to what she has to say to say goodbye. Um, so Claire, Mary, Anik, if you can remember any more of the information, or if any of it seems significant to you, please please send me a private message, so that we can confirm those validations. Okay, so the feeling that I'm getting, and I did describe this before we started going into who it was for, is that she's specifically here for for that female relative that is having difficulty that she kind of recognizes in her life. Okay. um, so if you are currently in a position where, you may find any similarities with, the difficulty that she did have, specifically, it seems to be specifically mm, like finance related. Like there was a feeling that it came together at the end, but that while this was going on in her life, like while she was active, it was very difficult, and that's the kind of difficulty that she's showing me, and that she's kind of expressing it doesn't need to be that way for you. Okay, it doesn't need to be that way for you. um, so listen to the signs, the symbols that she'll be sending you. She's going to really focus on kind of like pulling you up. Okay, so if you're feeling, you know she's showing me like depressed, like rain clouds, okay, like this kind of thing. If that reckon if so that resonates. Okay, so I got two people that still strongly connect. Okay, so um, let me know in the private chat what you can take and what you can't. I'm going to move on um, to the next one to give other people a chance. Um, but I want to say that she's very, very caring and very, very loving. Okay. Uh, but she was very hard, like in her life. Okay. So while she does have like that really loving, sweet side, and she's expressing that now, she also acknowledges that, she wasn't, the friendliest of people. And that was because of her circumstances. Okay. But she tried. She told me like she tried. She tried to make an effort. Okay. Um, So I'm going to leave her with my love, and I really appreciate her coming and sharing her experiences with me and everyone. Um, Feel free to send me a private message and let me know what you can take. Looks like we got at least two people that take a lot of it. So go ahead and continue that in the private messages. I'll check those later. And let me know what you resonate with, because it's kind of hard in the live chat. I can understand that. All right, so I'm going to be moving on now. Okay. So I'm seeing a beautiful woman with long brown flat hair. Okay, it's like this type of flowing hair, um, presenting to me, and she looks, like very like 70s, 1970s kind of style. Okay, um, I'm even getting like the feeling of bell bottoms, like bell bottom jeans, that kind of thing. Like, right, exactly, and the type of clothing as well, like the type of tops as well. It's very like 1970s type fashion is what I'm seeing. Um, she has this smile, like this like calm, like it. You know what? It almost reminds me of. Almost reminds me of like the Mona Lisa smiling, right? Like the type of smile that you would recognize where she like knows more than she's telling you. Okay, it's like that kind of thing. Like, okay, I and it was, she didn't have to say much, because just her expressions, you would know she understood it, that she could read between the lines, that she was there. And even if you didn't say it, she knew. Okay. So in this way, this woman is very, very intuitive and very, very in tune to other people around her. Okay. um, i'm also getting I'm also hearing like car wash. Okay, or maybe it was the song like in the car wash, this type of thing, right? I believe that fits the same era as well. um, let's see, what else is she describing to me? Okay, so you would recognize this person to be your friend. Okay, that I'm also getting the words like high school, okay, that you would recognize her to be one of your friends in high school, okay. Um, very chill, very, very, very down to earth woman, okay. Also very beautiful and very, very much into like her own time and space. Like I would say, like she just had this presence about her. She owned it. Okay. Um, I'm getting the feeling that like I'm and when I'm asking her like what it is about high school, right? Um, I'm seeing pieces of paper being flicked around, like where you could like fold notes and flick them around to different people, this type of thing. Um, and I'm and she's showing me like your least favorite subject, math, and that's like kind of where most of the goofing around did because she just like didn't care about math. um, she wants to acknowledge the times that the both of you had together, okay. Specifically the times after school, right? And I feel like this was really where the two of you like hung out. All right, it's like didn't really want to go home yet, and she just wanted to, I don't want to say like cause trouble, but she just wanted to chill, right? Wanted to have fun. And and as I'm saying that to her, and she's like, and look at the boys, right? um, and as she's showing me that image, like I'm getting a visual of the of like football practice, right? Or like leaning back and watching like football practice after school, this type of thing, right? And making commentary to you about the various players or whatnot, or their secrets, right? All right, let's see. Um, yes, so she does present to me as more of an olive or darker complexion. Yes, correct. Um, I'm getting, I'm feeling like this, like tennis was a thing. Okay, that if she was to play a sport, it would be something like tennis. Let me know if that resonates with you. But overall, like very, very beautiful woman, very, very chill, very in her own right. Like kind of reminds me a lot of um, the people that I grew up around, in Woodstock, which, they were very down to earth type people, very kind of relaxed and, would just hang out. Um, all right. So let me go a little deeper with her. There's something about like a ridge um, or mountain ridge. Um, and you would recognize this as some sort of name or either like it's a place name, street name. It's something ridge. Okay. So let me know if that makes any sense. Okay. So we go a little deeper with her and give her some. I'm going to ask her for some information to describe, the relationship that you have or the relationship that she has as well. Okay, so step you can take. You say it's making sense to you. Okay, so Charlie does not take the tennis does not. Okay. Okay, step. So you can take most of it or most of the information given. So if you can take most of it, step, I feel that she's here for you. She's here to acknowledge the good times that you had together. Um, so I'm going to go a little further and ask her if there's a message for you then, okay? Okay, Steph. Um, I'll also say what's very common is that you would go through a mediumship reading, right? And you may be given a lot of information, and you may remember it afterwards, right? Like I went to a medium locally, named Kennedy. Um, Amazing reading, right? Amazing reading, but I would say like a good part of it, like I didn't understand. So a lot of it, like they'll say like, say yes, no, or I don't understand. So I had to say I don't understand to quite a lot of it. But then the next day, when I started thinking about it, or chatting with my mom about this person, like the validations came in afterwards. So I ask if that happens here, with you, Steph, or anyone else, let me know, even if it's tomorrow or next week, because that's actually really common to happen. Um, okay, so let me see. Okay, so what what I'm getting from her now is she's showing me that smile again. Okay, that smile which you would understand. She knew what you were up to. Okay, and what this smile is about this time is she wants you to have some joy, some fun. Okay, that she's acknowledging that you need to be a little more lighthearted. Okay, that she really wants to see you smile like you did before. And she's telling me that time, I mean, it's like that time in the cheerleading stands where you almost fell off because you were laughing so hard. Uh, this is the type of energy, this is the type of joy that she wants to see in your life, okay? She wants to see this happiness for you now, okay? All right, so I'm going to send her off with that. Um, she really wants the best for you. She's come to say hello and give her my love and thank her for coming. She was such a beautiful soul, beautiful spirit. Yeah, so send me a private message. Let me know what you can take. And if you find out you take more of the information tomorrow, let me know. All right. So I'm going, and just remember, as I go through some of these readings, that some spirits can use me, some can't. So I kind of like to think of it, you can think of it as like batteries, right? You can't use a double A battery in a D volt, for example, right? So my energy needs to be relatively in sync with those in spirit for us to kind of communicate, right? And sometimes, sometimes the connection isn't that strong, but you could still understand who it is. And sometimes it's really, really powerful, and details and numbers come through and this sort of thing. And sometimes it just doesn't work at all because like the energies just don't mix. But doesn't mean they don't love you. They're still here. Just means they can't work with me at the moment. Okay. All right. So let me see who else is getting my attention in spirit. Oh, a few more shout outs. Renee from Australia and Tanya from New Zealand. Wow. It's a pleasure to have you here from across the ocean. Uh, you see that? That's the sun. The sun is setting on the Pacific Ocean. So I'm sure it's rising where you are. I'm watching the sunset. You're watching the sunrise, correct? All right. Let me see who else is here for. And Christy Cook in Scotland is in the middle of the night. My goodness, dear, you might want to get to sleep. Oh, midday. Wow, it's a little later than I thought then. Well, right here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, it's sunset. 7:36 p.m. All right, so okay, so let me bring my attention back to spirit. I have a connection with a male. Okay, um, and he's presenting to me to be in his 20s. I'd like to say in his 20s. Um, I'm hearing 22. Okay, um, and as he presents himself to me, he's also bringing his attention like to this car, and it seems to be like this red car. Um, Let me get a little bit more information on him. Uh, it's like seems to have a hair color that's a little lighter than mine, sort of like either light brown or dark blonde. This type of color. Okay, um, he's presenting himself to me with also like it looks like he has lighter colored eyes, but they don't appear blue to me. They appear like light brown as well, darker than mine. I mean, lighter than mine. Sorry. Uh, okay, Christy. Okay, and as I go a little bit further with him, um, I get this feeling from him that he always needs to do things his way. Okay, specifically his way. That you could lecture him. That his friends could lecture him. Anyone could lecture him, and he just would not take that advice. Okay, so unless the advice came from himself, he really didn't pay attention to it, or didn't listen to it, or didn't really acknowledge this information or advice. um Very type headstrong, like type person, like it's got to be his way. Okay. um so and he would be very about it too. Like I'm even getting like he would say like f no, or like he would be that obtuse about some of the information or some of the guidance or advice that he would get. um, so he did not have any qualms about telling you like or expressing the way he felt about being told what to do, this kind of thing. And it keeps coming back to like this, he keeps harping on um, like don't tell me what to do kind of thing. um, but as he tells me that, and as I'm listening to that, he's like, but I wish I would have listened. Okay, and I'm hearing things would have ended differently had I listened, is what I'm hearing. Okay, things would have ended differently had I listened. And the other words that I'm hearing from him is, yeah, I know, you're right. Okay. like wanting to like acknowledge you're right, but also like not completely wanting to give you credit for being right. If that makes sense to you. Like not wanting to admit that he was wrong, but kind of admitting that he was wrong. Okay, interesting character. Um, so as I'm going further with him, um, You mean there? I have to say, I don't know the significance of it, but perhaps you do. I'm seeing like a cookie, like a chocolate chip type cookie. Okay, that either this is you would understand this to be something that you would make or bake or something that would get his attention, right? So, um, and as I'm trying to work with him, he's also being very stubborn with me too. Okay. Okay, Christy Cook. Sounds like you can take a lot of the information. Let me know what you can validate, Christy Cook. Um, let's see. What else is he showing me? Oh, really? Wow, beautiful. So he's calling you out then. He's calling you out. My goodness. It's amazing how spirit works sometimes, isn't it? Beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna go see if I can get a little bit more from him. Perhaps a message or two. Um, Let me know what else resonates, Christy. Um, so, as I'm going with him asking for a message, um, he keeps saying like the blame is mine. Okay, like the blame is mine, and he doesn't want anyone else to like share this blame. Um, he says he's taken responsibility, okay, and he made the choices that he's made, okay. Um, so he wants everyone to know that they were his choices, and you could not convince him to do otherwise, okay. And no one else is to blame but him. All right. And he's also saying, it's like, well, you're doing great anyway. So, um, yeah. So ultimately, this is he's being obtuse with me as well. So, the information that he's given me is that he just wants those around to know that information. Okay, and he doesn't want anyone to blame themselves for something that he, you know, he went into, that he did. Okay, so no one is to blame. He's very adamant about people not dwelling on that. That it was all him. That's what I'm hearing. It was all me. Okay, so make sure that Christy, anyone that needs to hear that, definitely gets that information. Okay. And Tanya, you may send me a message and let me know what you take as well. All right, so I'm going to say goodbye to him. He ultimately he's a very sweet soul. Okay, he's got a really hard shell, right? So even as I'm trying to say goodbye and love to him, he's kind of brushing me off too. Okay, um, but I'm going to thank him for coming, and I'm going to send him my love anyway. Okay. All right. I think I might have the energy for one more. Um, Let me try to collect myself a little bit and cut some cords. Um, Let me know also in the chat if you enjoy this type of event. Um, this is a type of event that I could do more often as well. I could do this weekly. Um, So if this is something that everyone's interested in here, I can do more mediumship type mini type readings like this as well. So um, if you want that, just indicate yes in the chat, and I'll make sure to put at least one mediumship reading on my schedule, every week. In addition to the card readings, okay. Okay, very cool. So I'll the yeses have it. All right, so I'll do that. Um, and I think what I'll also do is, you know, I will probably do Zoom on some of them, and I'll put the link in the inner circle page. So if you want to make it more interactive, you guys could always join me through the Zoom next time then. Okay. So we could do that as well. All right. So let me see who else is getting my attention in spirit. Let me just try to build up my energy. I'm just going to take a few deep breaths. Um, so as I bring my awareness, back into spirit, uh, I'm seeing another male figure, um, kind of like a tough type of male figure, like a very stern type of like fatherly figure. Okay, you may recognize this person to be your father, um, or in that type of role. Okay, um, so you would see like, and he came to me like really quickly, like from the top to the bottom here, like he's always like in a hurry. Okay, or always worried about time, always worried about being on time. Okay. Um, you would understand and recognize that he didn't spend a lot of time in the house, that when he did come home it was kind of like a fleeting moment. He would like be in the living room or in the house, like, and you would just see him like breeze through it, right? um, Coming back from work like exhausted, in a hurry, wanting to eat, this type of thing. Okay, so while he may have acknowledged you, the acknowledgments when he returned home from work were brief. um, and I'm seeing darker type clothing, or darker type clothing around him. Um, and you would also recognize and understand that there was this commute that he did. Um, I'm trying to get the information about what he exactly did, um, and he's telling me uniform, that he was in a uniform, right? Okay. And as I ask him what type of uniform is he wearing, he says police officer. Okay. So the type of dark clothing that that I'm seeing, or that you would recognize, is his uniform, that when he would get home, um, stressed, tired, almost like a dark shadow the way he walks through the house, just like starving kind of thing. Okay. um, his work was very taxing on him. Okay. um, and and he's still putting up like kind of like this dark veil, like he doesn't exactly want me to see what he's seen. Okay. That he's seen things that he still wishes he didn't see. Okay. um and ultimately, like, this is also coming through as an apology to you, apology for you know not being, let's say, reliable, right, or consistent, is what I'm getting. um that he wanted better for you. Okay. but the nature of his work, the nature of his schedule, didn't really allow for that. And he wants me to express to you that, the chaos that he was living with every day and the chaos that he had to deal with was very taxing on him and very taxing on his soul. And, he's presenting to me with like a lot of this like energy around him from what he's seen, all the negativities that he's seen, all the just horror and chaos that, city police officers may experience. Um, and, as I'm going a little deeper with him, he's letting me know that, these are memories from the 1980s. Okay, the 1980s. Um, during a period of a lot of chaos. So you would remember and understand that, he may have been also involved in, like riot control, right? Okay. And specifically, like, as he's saying that, like, for example, like LA riots come to my mind. Um, and that was like a very defining moment as well in history. And traumatizing for pretty much everybody. Um, so this is the type of situations that he was always dealing with. Okay. It was just like every day was an unknown, every day was chaos. He would run in and run out of the house, that kind of thing. Okay. And he's here for his little daughter. Okay. For his girl. All right. He ultimately comes here with an apology, as I mentioned. Um, so I want to say, whoever this is for, and I understand if you don't want to be chatting publicly, that he apologizes for. Okay, so I'm hearing breaking promises. Okay, he apologizes for breaking promises. He apologizes for the inconsistencies. Um, ultimately, he says that he should have done better. Okay, but he also wants to, you know, show you the chaos. He wants you to understand that a lot of it was not under his control. Okay. All right. Okay. So the information I'm getting, I feeling his passing was 70s, 72-ish. Like he lived to like in his 70s is what I'm feeling with that information. Okay. And specifically 72 is standing out for some reason as well. As is the month of August. Okay, the month of August stands out to me. Okay. Um, and towards the end, like he's bringing his attention to my right leg or my right hip, um, and it feels injured, like an old injury acting up, that kind of thing, right? So I can understand that type of injury. I don't have an injury in my right hip, but I have different martial art injuries, and I understand this type of chronic pain. Uh, and this is the type of chronic pain he's showing me specifically on his right side, right leg, right hip. Okay. Um, so there was difficulty with that later on. Okay. All right. So Michelle, can you take any of this information? And if you want to comment privately, you can do so by just clicking on the Facebook page and then click, I think it's send message, or is it just the chat icon? Um, so you could let me know. And I'll see. Oh, okay. Do you recognize the memories that he's brought forward? And let me know if the information fits, Michelle. He passed in September. Okay. Do you know if he was, if the okay, 62? I said 72. A lot of it. Okay. Do you know if August was when the illness started, or if he was maybe perhaps admitted in August to the hospital? Because something about August, I'm feeling like August is like where like this event led to, the end, so to speak, or the transition, right? So there was an event in August. Okay. Yes, Michelle. So the illness did start in August. Okay. Thank you for that, Michelle. And okay, so I'm also getting like a little bit of stubbornness from him as well. Not as much as the last gentleman, but uh, I feel like he also didn't take care of his health the way that he should have. Okay. And he ultimately acknowledges that as well. That, okay, so he's telling me like he hid a lot, or he hid a lot of his pain, or he hid a lot of what was wrong with him. Okay. 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 So you recognize most of the information. You can recognize a lot of it, it looks like. Not sure what the last. Oh, okay. 100,000%. Okay. I'll take 100,000%. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. So I want to leave you with this message from your father, Michelle, that he ultimately really, really, really loves you a lot. Okay. And he's showing me as like, okay, so him being like one of your guardians, so to speak, right? Like he's still like there protecting you. This is like, I'm very like protective type energy is what I'm feeling right now. Okay. Um, like it might even get to like the point where he's so protective that some people might like he's flicking them away, right? Like get away from her, like this type of thing. So you might feel like certain people disengage with you and you don't know why. It's because he's kind of like trying to like flick them away because he doesn't think they're good enough for you, kind of thing, right? Okay. um, so I have this very protective element about him currently in spirit. um, he ultimately wishes that he would have done more, family wise, um, and he seeks forgiveness for, not being there all the time. Okay. That he really wanted to do more is what I'm feeling. Okay. Um, but ultimately, like, just like a gladiator of love for you is how I would describe him. Seriously, just like a warrior. Like he's just like really, really protective of you. Okay. So I'm going to send you, I'm going to send him off with that love and light. And I'm going to thank him for coming this evening and spending time with us. And I thank you, Michelle, for, sharing your father with us. It's an absolute honor and privilege to send his messages to you. So thank you for that. And thank you. All right, everybody. So, yay, we made it to an hour. uh, we did it. I wasn't sure if I could keep the energy up for that long, but yeah, we did it. So, um, I'm going to shuffle my chat. And if you're interested, I'm going to give away a free private reading. Okay. And remember that if you're interested in these events, that you need to like, and I think it's enable notifications on the page, or you have to click like and follow, so that you make sure that you get the notifications for the events. Okay. So I'm going to do more mediumship, just like everyone here has seen. I'll try to do one of these a week, and we'll definitely do at least one card reading a week as well. So I want to get back into the routine where I'm doing a card reading, meditation, and then the third event, I think we'll make that the mediumship event. Okay, so we're going to start aiming for 3 events a week. All right, so let's see here. All right, so my random mouse cursor is on Anik Richards. So Anik, free private reading, send me a message and we will get you scheduled. Okay, Anik Richards, you've won a free private reading. And I will do this every time that I'm online. I will give away a free private reading as well. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate everyone being here. And we'll see you for the next event. I'm traveling to Las Vegas tomorrow. So the next event, I will be a card reading, but it will be a card reading in the office in Las Vegas. So this will be interesting. Okay. All right. So I'll see you all next time. Make sure that you follow those events. Okay, everyone? Have a beautiful evening or a beautiful rest of your day. Love you all, everybody. See you soon.